Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer. Dieses Jahr findet die Berlinale virtuell statt. Und wir von Bärenstark möchten gerne Einblicke in das diesjährige Berlinale Talents Programm geben. In unserer heutigen Sendung möchte ich recht herzlich hier bei uns im Studio die ambitionierte Filmemacherin aus Pakistan, Hira Nabi, begrüßen. In ihrem Film All That Perishes at the Edge of Land tritt sie in den Dialog mit zahlreichen Arbeitern in den Gadani-Werken. Ihre Arbeit ist sehr hart, doch aufgrund der fehlenden und mangelnden Jobangebote in Pakistan sind sie dazu gezwungen, diese Arbeit zu verrichten. Ihr sehnlichster Wunsch ist es, dass es ihren Kindern einmal besser gehen wird als ihnen selbst. Ja, als erstes schauen wir uns einmal einen Ausschnitt aus ihrem Film an.
इस जहाज का आना हमारे मुल्क के लिए और हमारे मुल्क के मजदूरों के लिए बहुत बड़ी खुशैन बात है कि हमें रोज़गार मिल जाते हैं। हमारा मुल्क इस काबिल नहीं है कि पूरे पाकिस्तान को रोज़गार दे सके।
मेरा नाम ओशन मास्टर है।
यहाँ कोई भी शौक से नहीं रहते।
शायद तुम्हारी जान भी ले लूं।
Ja, nun begrüße ich ganz herzlich die Filmemacherin Hira Nabi hier virtuell bei uns im Studio. Für dieses Interview werde ich ins Englische wechseln. Hi Hira, so nice to see you. How are you? And because this year you are part of the Berlinale Talents Program, and my question to you is, how excited are you?
Hi, well, thank you first for inviting me to speak about my film and this experience. I'm really excited, but I really have no idea what it's going to be like this year because it's all online. So everything that I've heard from before, people meeting and just kind of getting to know one another in Berlin, spending time in Berlin, of course, in the freezing cold. So I mean, I'm excited to stay away from that. But yeah, it's, I think, mainly just getting to know the other talents, connecting with other people. Yeah, seeing what kind of films folks are making, mainly that.
It sounds so nice. And first, I'm pretty interested in your personal background. So how did you decide to become a filmmaker? Was it a dream you always had?
From when I was a baby till about when I was 5 years old, I used to live next to one of Lahore's oldest cinema theaters. So maybe I just like imbibed some of that. But no, kind of, I think I came to cinema in a very organic way. I was always very interested in stories, whether it was listening to stories or storytelling or reading and writing. And that then led to me developing an interest in images, which then kind of, still images moved to moving images. So it was like that.
Pretty nice. And how do you describe the film scene in Pakistan? Is it common for girls becoming filmmakers? How is it there?
Yeah, it's not... the thing is that the film scene is very tiny. We have a big TV industry. And so TV culture is very big. TV production is very big. Everybody that's acting are really their TV stars and TV show hosts and things and so on. So like a lot of money is spent on that. The film scene is kind of quite tiny by comparison. There's a lot, I think, and because there's not a lot of funding by the state or that people or private channels put their money into TV, there's kind of an independent film scene. And it varies from city to city. So in Karachi, there's a different scene. In Lahore, there's a different scene. In Islamabad, it's different. But I think it's kind of nice that people are maybe now, I think, trying a bit to work together, show together, definitely at least show their works together. And so in that kind of try and view each other's works and maybe through that like build some more infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. And at next, I'm really interested in getting to know more about your movie, All That Perishes at the Edge of Land. And in your film, you get into a dialogue with workers. And how did you get the idea of making a film about it?
Yeah, it was a long time in the making because in 2011 I saw images of the shipbreaking yard at Chittagong, and now Chittagong is in Gadani, but I saw these images that a photographer had taken, and I knew that there was shipbreaking in Pakistan. So I googled Gadani and I found images, and I wanted to travel there. But I wasn't able to. I was told that it's too dangerous or that the security situation doesn't permit it, and so on and so forth. So I didn't get to go there till 2018, which is when I was in Karachi. I was there for an artist residency at this organization called Vassal. And I told them that I'm really interested in visiting Gadani. And so they organized a trip. So I went there. And it's really kind of from the first moment that I was there, I was just so kind of blown away by it. It was so incredibly different to anything that I had ever seen. I mean, I'd seen images, of course, but to actually be there, there's this vast open sea, these huge ships. They're absolutely enormous, and they're being worked on, and you see them up close, and they're these men that look tiny by comparison working on them. So there was so much happening there. I thought, okay, I think that I should keep coming back. I should try to learn this place, try and understand it, and see how it can kind of lend itself into something visual.
Yeah, so your movie is really emotional. We can see it. And do you have like a special moment that's really touched you during the shoot, really emotionally?
I think there were various moments. The shoot was about 9 months long. I wasn't there for the whole 9 months. I was just I was coming and going. So I was able to visit in different seasons, and also different seasons of employment and unemployment. So there were some people that I became quite close to, and to see them kind of struggle through periods of employment and periods of unemployment. And then it's actually like a very strange thing, because I realized that when you're unemployed, because everybody around you, they're all mates they become quite close. And then when you're unemployed, your fellow workers, they like lend you some money to get by. And then when you find employment again, I found that the people who were employed were more worried because they had to pay their debt. They had to pay the debt. And so it's really with, I think, one of the workers who's very old and who, for me, became the main voice in the film. In our conversations, he taught me so much because he had such a profound understanding of labor and power structures and exploitation. And also there were moments where I think he allowed me to glimpse at his personal pain, and to be able to see that and to witness that was something deeply powerful, deeply moving. And at that point also, I became too close to the film and I had to kind of step back a bit. But I think those were, in the end, I mean, for me at Gadani, those were some of the most intense moments. And then I think they also translated into the film as some of the sort of emotionally, like these very sort of high points.
Wow, yeah, even for me, it's so emotionally. Watching your movie, And can you describe the daily life of these workers?
It starts very early. It starts at about dawn. They begin their days with breakfast, and they'll have breakfast, which is usually a cup of chai and maybe something else, and then they head to work at the yard. And there are different sections. So different people are, of course, doing different things. Like there's a welding section. Then there are people that are on the ship. There are people that are on the ship, and then there are people that are working in the yard. And then there are different tasks. Like some people have to empty the ship of various things. Some people are at the top of it. So they're on kind of the roof of the ship. Some people are working inside it. And then there's the yard is where all the welding happens. And they're doing that work. And then there's a break at about noon. So there's a lunch break. And then they go back to work. They go back to work till about sunset. And after that, it's too dark to continue. So they'll come back and they sign out. And then they go to their homes and they kind of hang out and go to bed. And then the next day, it's the same thing all over again.
What do you think needs to change radically? Do you have special wishes or hopes for the future of Pakistan? Maybe also for these workers?
Well, for the workers, I would say there needs to be proper healthcare. There needs to be a burn unit at the site because the closest burn unit is in Karachi, which is about 2 hours away. Also, most fundamentally, there's no access to clean water. So they get water tankers, which are quite expensive. So clean piped water. So it's not asking for too much, just the bare minimum. I think that should immediately change.
Thank you for your time, Hira. It was really nice speaking to you. And das war's heute mit unserer heutigen Sendung Bärenstark meets Berlinale Talents. Morgen werde ich den israelischen Filmemacher Asaf Mahnes interviewen. Und wenn ihr Hira und die anderen Filmemacher und Filmemacherinnen gerne nochmal wiedersehen möchtet, dann schaltet unbedingt am Samstag um 15 Uhr in unsere Live-Sendung ein. Ich freue mich auf euch.